Hey YouTube, and thanks for watching Junkworks Garage. Some of you may or may not have watched my video on my pressure washer. It was a gas-powered pressure washer, and it started leaking like a sieve when I was doing my wand. When I bought one of those extension wands for my pressure washer, and I have a video on that, as well as like changing the oil on my pressure washer and a few other things. But regardless, it's 1700 and I think 50 psi is all that gas powered one was, and now they've come out with these fairly powerful, not super powerful. This one's 2000. They have one that's like 2300. There's a couple reasons why I bought this one though, and that's because first of all it was cheaper. It was like 147, 174. There'll be a price in the screen somewhere here. But beyond the price thing, this one actually has a higher GPM according to their own information that was on the cards it showed than the bigger one. Why that is, I don't know. I think it has a lot to do with it has different tips. And those different tips are more what your gallons per minute and how the flow rate goes, depending on what tip you have. Also, I think the real thing is kind of neat. Although you cannot, I see a lot of people think, you can tell watching other people's videos, they think that this is going to just roll up and be great to put away every single time. Well, to do that, you got to unhook everything to actually reel it into here. You can't leave it hooked up and wind it onto this reel, which I could tell just from looking at it at the store. But my thing is when I'm using it more often, I'll wind it up and throw it up here if I know I'm going to use it within the next week or something like that. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and unhook it and reel it up. Mainly because when I put this away, I never know when I'm going to be using it next. And around here, it can go from 90 degrees one day, 1 week, to freezing cold the next. It just did that. And my point is that I want to take it apart and drain out the water and put it all away to put it away. And this will help it stay in a spot nicely packaged, because my old one, it's just kind of wound around this and it gets all tangled because it doesn't wind very well. We'll see. A lot of people say that this hose kind of really sucks, which I'm hoping my other hose maybe will work on this one later on when I decide to deal with it. But for right now, we're just going to go with what's on here. Also, the wand. I like the feel. Like, I was able to feel them at the store, and I like the feel. This one feels sturdier than the 2300 psi one or whatever it is. It feels a lot better in my hand, and the plastic even doesn't seem as thin, plasticky. That, I don't know. You know what I'm talking about if you can tell the difference between plastics. But this felt like a better scenario. So I went ahead and picked this one up. To each their own. Everybody's going to have their opinions on that. And I just decided this one was more PSI than what I have. I know it'll at least do the PSI that I have on my gas one. And this, at least in between me using it, will shut off and quit making a bunch of noise. And I can plug it in and unplug it. I don't have to worry about oil. I don't have to worry about gas. And I don't have to worry about gas going bad in the carburetor and having to deal with that. So there's just a lot of benefits to these electric ones. That was probably way too much information in the beginning without opening a box, so I'm going to go ahead and open up the box now. So we got all the parts and pieces out. And then another thing, this one was cheap enough anyway, that I could also buy this fitting for this one for less, the whole kit less than what it would have cost me to buy the 2300 that had this one right here. And another one, I know a lot of people don't like them, but this one has the 0, so just straight stream one. And I like that one for cleaning out the cracks and crevices in the concrete and for certain different things that I want to be able to do. So I like having just a straight stream. And then it comes with the, I'll put my glasses on, the 25 degree, the 40 degree, and the soap one. And then, so I'm missing I think the other one had a 15 degree instead of the 0. And then I got this one as well for concrete. It's the turbo nozzle that they have. I will say I do think you can buy these nozzles. Go to Amazon. I think they're exactly the same thing for less money. But I was there. I need this, so I picked it up. And I still, like I said, I got it for less than what it would have cost me for the bigger one. First thing they want you to do is put this on. But I'm not going to do that because right now it's sitting on here nicely and I don't want it to roll around much. So we got that off. This goes right in here. Little known fact, I'm pretty sure it'll work anyway. When you go to put this away and you're not going to be using it a bunch, I personally would probably pop this because it's got these little buttons right here that click in. So you can dismantle this fairly easily. I would probably turn it this way and put it away. It's kind of a smaller package that way, but that's just my personal, when I go to put it away in the winter or whatever, what I'll end up probably doing. And that just clips right on there. And then in this bag we got the pins for the wheels, and then this, which I believe is the one for the wand. And then there's just 2 big holes in the handle here. That just goes in just like that. And then it's got a couple screws that were in that bag. I'm just going to start them by hand for now. Because I'm somewhat lazy, I'm going to put those in with this slowly, but not all the way. I'm going to leave a gap. This just gets it going further. Because I've actually seen people that have over tightened these. A couple videos out there and you can see it through the plastic up here. So just until it hits the metal, and then maybe one more little bit of a snug. They don't have to be reefed in there. You can feel it kind of come down and hit the metal right in here. There'll be a little bit of a gap here and here. And you can kind of feel when it wants to stop. This isn't, you know, holding together the front end of the car. We're just holding a couple pieces of plastic on it. Then we got this bag here, which has your nozzle pieces and the piece that goes over off that holds your electrical cord. Then over here we got an actual nut zert here, and this goes on there, and you gotta get that to go through the hole. It's sitting about like that, so I want that facing about like that. Alright, doesn't seem to be like you can tighten this up very well. It kind of moves anyway. Inside the bag you got your pin, a washer, and a cotter key here. So then there's just a hole back here. You put your washer on, then your cotter pin like that. Not rocket science yet again. Really, if you just didn't have much space, this would be very easy just to take back apart, throw it in that box and throw it up on a shelf somewhere, or just throw it up on a shelf somewhere. Now when it comes to this hose here, don't start hooking things up. We gotta, first of all, I'm going to unhook this side over here and pull this out. See if it'll even pull out. A lot of people say this is where the kinks come from. Well, careful you don't get it hooked on that. And it does have a thing, I should show that right here. This folds up in, and comes out. That's already done for you. And then this just pops out of here like that. This one will go on a bat fitting back here. It's a little, I don't know, copper looking, but not quite. But these fittings though, you want to push them in, like plug them in first until they're done, and then screw them on. And just till it stops. You don't have to reef on it, you don't have to use a wrench, nothing like that. Now, here's the biggest downside is this turns into a giant kink if you just pull on it, so you got to be careful with this. You can buy adapters for the guns that allow this to be swivel, and you can probably buy one that would let that swivel as well in between the two. You probably could use this hose and never get a kink, or very rarely. Then we got our tip of our gun here. That, yet again, you got to plug it in first, let that go in, and then screw this on. I don't think you need a wrench. It definitely just kind of stops where it wants to stop. If you find it's leaking, then use a wrench. Otherwise, I would not use a wrench on that. It's got a nice, the grip right here is real soft, kind of like you get on your grippy tools kind of thing. And then the rest of it's kind of that cheap plastic. But I also like, it's got like the normal trigger kind of thing, and it's also got a stop right here. There we go. That keeps you from hitting the, pulling the trigger. You probably never use that, but it is what it is. They don't have a trigger that actually lets you hold it on and leave it on. And when your hand goes off, it goes off. A lot of people think that this and the little button are so that the trigger will hold on. You can leave it on like some like old drills and things like that, but they don't have that. At least these ones don't. Alright, and then this, same thing. Plug it in first, and then screw it on till it's tight. But see, this doesn't swivel and this doesn't swivel, so if you start pulling on this right away without sitting here doing this kind of thing, you're going to wind up with a bunch of kinks. So in reality, I'm going to take this off of here and I'm going to go outside and get this straightened up. And one other thing, the gun, I don't think you want to put it in like that. No, like my other one, you got to kind of tip it and then it goes in there and then it falls out. This one just kind of snaps on, I believe. Yeah, it just kind of snaps in there, and actually if you snap it in there and push it forward, when this is all the way in, I don't think I would want to just pull this out. I'd be afraid, especially if it was like a cold day, that that would break. I don't know, but that's just kind of my assumption. I would pull back on it and then pull it out, because it definitely kind of has a spot in here. So same thing putting it in, I would put it in and then push it forward, because it definitely kind of grabs a hold of this thicker part here and then it's thinner here. So if you go to pull on this, it kind of pushes this out quite a bit. So I would definitely do that kind of thing personally. And you have the bottle here, which you put your soap in. And one of the biggest downfalls, and that doesn't unscrew, it just pops off and on. Be careful, because you'll just rip the whole thing off, it appears. But one of the biggest downfalls is there's no shutoff in here to keep it from flowing. So once you're done doing the soap, unless this is empty, it's just going to keep flowing soap out of it. Alright, Well, that was a real pain in the butt. Well, I've already went in and edited this video and realized it's going to be way too long if I also put in all the stuff me using it and talking about it. So, if you want to see the first time me using it, what my opinions are on it, go check that video out. It should be in my tools, products, and reviews playlist. Now get out there and get your junk working. Thanks for watching Junk Works Garage, where I'm proud to say I'm a jack of all, I'm master of none. You all have a good one.